She left family support to get more family support, only to realize that that family support already had family support and didn't give her family support.
Welcome to Center Ground, your home for unfiltered discussion, where we tackle today's most talked about topics, break down current events, and give our take on the internet's latest foolishness. Tune in and let's find some common ground. Let's get this party started.
Welcome back. I am your host, Bootsy. I came across a PMP, Poor Man's Podcast video. I know this is going to be a good one. I know it's going to make me laugh. It's women are starting to regret divorce. And I started watching. I saw like 10 seconds. I instantly paused it, saved it. And I was like, I got to do a blind reaction on this one. I just know it's going to be a bunch of stupidity in here. I know it's going to be a bunch of foolish decision making. It's going to be a bunch of, I listened to the wrong people. Certain people manipulated me. It's going to be a lot of lack of accountability. But it's like, who would have thought that destroying your family would have negative consequences, right? Go figure. Like, oh my gosh. Who would have thought your job wouldn't be able to sustain you while your children are wondering where daddy is, right? Common sense, but okay, this is the world we live in. So let me just watch this so I can get my day started.
Talk is just a recipe for disaster. And really the reason why is because they just have too much access to advice from miserable single women. And it's funny because the old trope used to be, if a woman divorces her husband, what did he do wrong? What did you do so wrong that made your wife want to divorce you? But these women who are filing for these divorces are now getting on TikTok and they're saying the quiet part out loud. They're not getting...
Yeah, they're legit saying that I divorced my husband for nothing. Because I liked other men. Because I wanted to see what else was out there. Because I'm personally unfulfilled. These are all psychological issues on her part, not his. But we were always taught that it was the money. We were always taught it was the infidelity. We were never taught it was their inadequacies, their personal failures. But again, the internet is starting to expose a lot of things in real time. That's why the world is changing so fast.
These divorces because they're being abused or that their husbands are habitual cheaters. They're getting these divorces because they say that they're bored. They say that they want to find their own happiness.
Imagine breaking up your family because you're bored. Like, how old are you? 5? Like, imagine how stupid that is. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to learn. There's going to be at least one lady in this video who did it because she was bored or unfulfilled, and she's going to have a serious level of regret. And by then, it's already too late.
Or they just don't get the same butterflies that they once used to. This video is about the funny part, the part where they have to actually start paying bills and they realize that life isn't free because your husband isn't sponsoring it anymore. These are the types of...
That's the other part that cracks me up. Like, you thought you were in a relationship with someone who was helping you pay your bills. Let's say they did 50-50, right? Even if they did 80-20 where the woman did the 80 and the man did the 20, you don't think that extra 20% is going to hurt you when they leave? Like, some people really don't think things through.
Ladies that blame their unhappiness on everything around them except for themselves. So they changed everything. They got rid of their husband. They got rid of their old life. They moved into a new apartment and they're still miserable. And now that they're alone, they start to realize that after you got rid of everything and you're still miserable, the only common denominator is you. Your marriage wasn't the problem. You were. Why some women are admitting divorce regret. Let's go ahead and get right into the video.
So I'm noticing a pretty disturbing divorce trend happening right now. And that's where you have a woman, right? And she decides to get a divorce to find her happiness, find herself. Yeah. Is usually the reason.
Yeah, and we all know what that means. When they say they're going to...
I know what he's going to get at, but when you go to find your happiness, it's like, did it get lost somewhere? Like, how do you find your First of all, your happiness is all you. And one thing I've learned in this life is you got to stop putting your personal issues on everybody else. If I'm unhappy, I don't look at my wife and say, you're the reason why I'm unhappy. I go for a damn walk. You know why? Because I'm unhappy. It ain't something she did. It's usually something I did. So I go for a walk, go clear my head, try to figure out where I made a mistake, come back, and then try to come up with a solution. Well, I guess that's logic. So that's where some people miss out on. But yeah, that's what I do. And that's what I advise other people to do. Stop blaming everybody. Go find out what you did wrong and go fix it.
Find themselves. It never means they're going to get involved with the church, become sober, start doing charity work, maybe lose 30 pounds and really start to get themselves back together.
Nah, they jump on the carousel. That's what they do. And they think it's going to fix their problems. And then they end up with a new baby daddy and more drama and more stress. And then they just blame the men and then the cycle continues.
Finding yourself is always somehow a euphemism for doing hoe shit.
So she goes through happy phase. And happy phase is where you know what she's doing. Like, we all know what she's doing, right?
Exactly.
So she gets out of happy phase. She realizes that dating now is harder. Or that, hey, my life isn't as comfortable as it used to be. And now she goes into regret.
Yeah.
The way she seems to do it is she'll go online and find sympathy. So there's one thing I've noticed. It always seems
That just made me think of something. So growing up, I grew up, my mother only had boys. And one of my mother's biggest fear is that, one of these young girls is going to lie and say that her sons R-worded them. So my mother would try to prepare us for some of the tactics that women would implement. And regret is a big one because a lot of women, not all, of course, let's throw that out there because there are some devious, evil men out there, but a lot of women engage in behavior because they didn't fully think things through. And we really got to start talking about the lack of foresight. It has become a serious problem, but in general, but it's like they do things without thought, regret it after the fact, and then try to delete it. And it's like you can't delete it. And the way that they try to delete it is they push all of the onus onto another person. And oftentimes you see it, particularly in college, where young girls will do something foul, sleep with a bunch of people, regret it, and then claim that the person forced them, that the person manipulated them. And I feel like we're going to hear some of that in this video as well. My thing is this behavior, especially when you start accusing people of criminal activity, needs to be punished. We got to stop letting them do whatever they want and then getting away with just straight up lying. Because if it was the other way around, that would never fly.
maybe this is just what I've seen, but I've noticed that women that are in groups tend to be single. It's almost as if women do keep each other single.
Of course,
and there's
yeah.
that whole thing going around right now where the saying that women keep each other single. And I think it's, at least
The saying is single women keep other women single. And then, yes, it is true. If you've ever had any female friends and you listen to the advice that they give other friends, doesn't matter if they're single or not, you'll see how they end up single. Most logical men hate when their wives and girlfriends go hang out with their single friends. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why? Because a lot of women are influenced by other women, and single women tend to give poor advice. The wife will tell the single friend what they go through or some of their experiences, and then the single friends will be like, I would never do this and I would never do that. It's like, of course you would never do it. You ain't got nobody. But they don't talk about that part, and they don't pay attention to that part.
what I'm seeing, I think it's true.
Yeah.
So I want to show you an example.
How did I know it was time to end my marriage? Number one question from women in my DMs. I'm gonna get into some pretty heavy topics in this video, so
She decided to end her marriage because of her DMs. Think of how stupid that is. Bruh, there's people in your DMs that tell you to eat a bunch of food and gain weight. There's a bunch of people in your DMs that'll tell you to, end yourself. But she listening to marital advice from a bunch of strangers on the internet.
just a trigger warning. I'd say about a year
This is teenage girl behavior, by the way.
before I requested a separation, started to feel my sense of self slip away. Having disassociations multiple times throughout the day, started having extreme senses of deja vu. Since learned through therapy that it can actually be
She said deja vu. Like, listen, if you have a stable relationship, you're going to do the same things over and over again. That's what stability looks like. If I sit on a chair and that chair can hold my big self, then that chair is stable. But if I sit on that chair and it start wobbling, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit of excitement. My adrenaline going to rush a little bit. But the chance of me crashing and burning into that floor is high if it's instability. But as long as it's stable, it's strong. And that's what weak-minded, stupid people don't realize. They listen to a bunch of other stupid people, and then they destroy their strong relationships by listening to stupid, lonely people. Internet people lie. They're not happy. A lot of people get on the internet because they don't have a circle. They don't have relationships. They don't have friends. So what they do is they spend hours on end on the internet. I knew a girl, every time she took a picture, she had to post it. Every time she had a thought, she had to post it. I have a god sister who's like that. All of her posts about relationship. Ask me if this girl's in a relationship.
a sign of anxiety, and I think
Go to the comments and ask me if this girl's in a relationship, but I think you know the answer.
I just didn't recognize it in my body because I just didn't want to acknowledge what was happening.
Sure,
I'd be driving
yeah.
around the Bay Area, a place that I have been wanting to leave for so long. I remember I would just have these moments in my car just being like, what are you doing? Why are you
Listen, I live in New York, right? And I don't want to live here anymore. I'm tired of New York. And it's not for the reasons that most people think. I just think it's it's too expensive. It makes no sense how expensive it is for the things that you get. The amount of money that we're paying for our tiny apartment, we could have a house. So I'm like, why are we here? I got to look for parking. It's stupid, right? But can you imagine if I break up my family because I'm like, I'm tired of New York? They're like, this is what this woman is saying. Like, she tired of the Bay Area, so she want to leave. You want to leave your whole family because you tired of it.
Here, almost like putting myself in the multiverse, Spideyverse. Like, this is not the universe that you're supposed to be in.
Now imagine if me as a man went on a TikTok and said I deserted my wife because I wasn't happy.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so stupid. You got to realize how moronic some of these people are. And then when you realize that, their actions start to make a lot more sense.
would be ridiculed into oblivion.
I felt like I had no energy by the things that brought me joy. I feel like all these emotions and all these things were compounding. And I called my mom and I just told her, like, I am so depressed. I don't recognize myself. Don't have any hope for the future. I just feel so down. That she was like, you need to come home. I never want to feel to the point that I'm that hopeless, that I have nothing to look forward to. I feel.
I was going to say something mean. I was going to be like, yeah, you might not recognize yourself because you wear too much makeup, but that's just mean. She's crying. Shut up, Bootsy.
Like, I can't get out of bed every day. The hardest thing for me to admit is that I am at rock bottom right now. No idea what the future is going to look like, but I know there is one. And I know there is.
Damn, I gotta stop stopping the video. This is gonna take forever. But it's like, how are you at rock bottom? You're in a clean car with a look like a like they groomed a dog, right? Your hair doesn't look a mess. You look like you have on clean clothes. You're not at rock bottom. You're just not where you feel you should be. And we got to start calling these people out on their nonsense. Rock bottom is not you having what you need to survive. Rock bottom is when you're at rock bottom, when you don't have anything. Like, destroying your relationship and then not liking the result is not rock bottom.
Is one that I'm going to be excited about. And I know I'm going to look back at this time and be like, wow, if you got through that, you can get through anything. You're losing yourself to the point that you don't even recognize yourself anymore. It makes sense to start questioning if this is the path you want.
So as you see, she's clearly unhappy and doesn't want to be married anymore.
Right.
But what she's doing is she's associating her unhappiness with her marriage instead of looking at herself. And
Well, the problem is she's associating marriage with happiness, and marriage isn't about happiness. It's about providing stability for children. Marriage is hard, and like anything that's hard, if you only want to engage with it when you're happy, then you will have no longevity in it. If I only wanted to work out when I was happy, I would never be strong. If I only wanted to make YouTube videos when I was happy, then I wouldn't have a big channel, because you have to be willing to do things when you're unhappy in order for you to have longevity in it. Marriage isn't about happiness. That was an idea made by corporations to convince working class men to buy their wives pointless shit.
seeing if maybe there's something that she's doing that's making her unhappy. So here's the first phase, right? So now she gets a divorce. And then this other thing happens too, right? Where a woman starts, like when she starts feeling unhappy and she needs that validation to get divorced, she'll go online.
Yep.
That is the quickest way to get a validation for your divorce.
Yeah.
And I have another video planned where I want to show more of that. But so she'll go online and she'll get validation just like that to get a divorce. So let me show you what happens when they realize they made a mistake.
I'm really starting to question if I made the biggest mistake of my life. Wanted to post
Same lady too, by the way.
I'm feeling because, wow, the highs are great, but the lows are really low. In 1 month since I moved into my apartment, and this is my second week on my job, now that things are quiet, I'm finding myself reflecting a lot. It just feels so painfully uncomfortable. I was questioning everything. I'm really trying to force myself to remember how bad things were and how bad things got repeatedly for me to get to this point. I think I'm just having a really hard time.
Side note, I'm watching all this nonsense that she's doing. I'm like, yo, if I have to do all of this before I go outside, I ain't going outside. That's too much.
Being back
And she not even done.
at square one. I not cry. I cannot afford to buy more eyelash serum right now. Being a wife, being in a relationship.
Kind of makes the joke I made earlier about the makeup make sense, that she couldn't recognize herself, doesn't it?
It feels so natural to me. Like putting myself out there, being single, dating doesn't at all. That I think I thought moving to my hometown would be really good for me recovery wise, but I'm just finding it's not really.
Everywhere you go, there you are. It don't matter how far you move. It don't matter what you do. It don't matter the surgeries you get. Don't matter the makeup you put on. It doesn't matter the crap you buy. You're still going to be you. It doesn't matter. I learned that at a young age.
Thought I would have family support moving here and finding that that's not the case.
Yeah, you don't have family support because you're 40 years old and everybody in your family probably has their own family that they have to attend to. Now,
She left family support to get more family support, only to realize that that family support already had family support and didn't give her family support.
Not only that, but they know you. They know your character. They know that you're the problem. They just don't want to tell you. If you wanted family support, you should have got that from your family instead of separating your family.
It's been a really tough pill to swallow to realize I'm kind of on an island. I know so many people would die at the opportunity to have no strings attached and travel and start over and date a bunch of people, but that's just not my personality. I'm $10,000 in debt from all of this. Like, I don't know where people are just getting money to do all this stuff. I have 2 dogs that are quite
Tricking. And not the tricking. The opposite of tricking. I just can't say it.
literally the only things making me
304 and
feel sane right now. Point, I'm just really questioning like if I'm ever meant to have like a normal happy life, which maybe.
Imagine saying all of this after you already had a normal family. She's saying that she's on an island, but she doesn't even understand that she put her husband on an island, or at least her ex-husband. And she has to understand that not only did she decide to split up her family, she got to plan and make steps into the point where she did so. Her husband was probably just blindsided. He probably didn't even know that she was miserable. And then one day she just came along and said she wanted a divorce. Now imagine how he must feel. By the way, notice that she never talked about anything that he may have done wrong. And I guarantee you, if he did do anything wrong, she would be talking about it. So she's just blaming everybody for circumstances that she caused.
Sounds dramatic. I just feel like the things that come really natural to other people are just so hard for me. I feel like I'm not asking that much. Like, I just want a normal life. I want to have kids, want to be married, and it just feels like that's not in the cards for me. Just really
she was already married.
I feel like the swings of emotion with this have been so drastic. Days like today where I feel dead inside. Like, I'm crying all the time on TikTok, and now my eyes are just like dead again. Multiple people in my life have told me I'm icy, and I'm just like, literally, what do you want me to fucking say to that? If you're feeling like me at any point, I just encourage you to go through my divorce playlist and look at any of the comments from people doing that on a regular basis, and you guys have helped me so much. I don't know, I just want to be honest today because, again, like a few days ago I was feeling pretty good. Today I feel horrible.
Yeah, so she realized she had it good, and she threw it all away. Now she's not going to say that she was wrong, even though she was. So consequences. You make choices, you got to deal with the consequences. What are you going to do? So then this happens.
Oh no. She went off the
Yeah,
deep
she
end.
promotes divorce.
Yeah, it's over.
That's the next step.
And that's how it works. My mama told me a long time ago, misery loves company. And I've learned as I've gotten older that she doesn't know how right she is. She can't find happiness, so she poisons the well. And we got to start having a conversation about how demonic this behavior is. I know I joke around a lot, but you probably could tell I got really serious when I saw that. So many people partake in this behavior, and it's destroying us. We look at it as entertainment. I look at it as demonic. If you can only spread joy and happiness when you're happy, you're not usually a good person.
It's easier at the time to bring everybody down with her rather than look at what she's doing and take some responsibility and actually improve herself so she doesn't get herself in this kind of condition again.
Or so that she don't convince other people to get themselves in the predicament that she's in. And that's what I think is so different about older women who make bad decisions with their sex lives and their marital lives. Like, I don't know what it is about older women who make bad decisions with their sex lives when they're younger and with their marital lives who just want to convince younger women to keep making the same decisions. It's just crazy to me. Like, when you talk to dudes who have ruined their lives by making bad decisions, they're never like, yeah, bro, you should do the same thing I did. But for some reason, when it comes to older women who make these decisions, they have this thing where they have to convince younger women to make the same mistakes they made.
I'm going to show you another video.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to that whole demonic thing I was talking about. It makes no sense. Don't get me wrong. There are men who do that, right? But it's weird because when men do it, we can see it coming. You see a guy who destroyed his family. I remember I knew a dude who destroyed his family because he couldn't keep it in his pants, right? And he was giving all the young dudes advice. Oh man, y'all shouldn't even be wasting your time on these chicks. Go, what they say, go spread your, what was it? Fulfill your royal oaths, something like that. It's something that no one says anymore, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute. Ain't this man going through a divorce right now? Didn't he destroy his family? Why the hell would I listen to this clown? The opposite happens with a lot of young women because they don't paint it like reality. What a lot of women do is they manipulate. They use coercion. They use like fancy, nice sounding words. They'll say things like, oh, you have to go find yourself, or you have to decenter men. They always have these like fancy terminology rather than just telling people what it is. Just so I like having real conversations with older people. If you have serious conversations with a lot of older women, especially old women in the church, they'll tell you sometimes, not all the time, sometimes they'll tell you why they're still single and old. They'll tell you why they don't have anyone. And sometimes even if they don't tell you directly, you can see it.
Here.
I'm honestly really sad right now, if you can tell. That's like the weirdest thing about grief is like, it didn't.
Before this lady, I don't get why people get on the internet crying. It's so annoying. But one thing I'm gonna, even when Tyrese did it, what she want more from me? Like,
I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
that stuff irks me. But one of the things that I've learned about people is sometimes they don't really regret the divorce. They regret the results that came with the divorce. They don't mind leaving the man because they never actually cared about the man to begin with. And I'm going to just say this. I had this thought this morning. Most people have problems in their relationships. Most people who get divorces don't get divorces because of finances, infidelity, or a lot of this inconsolable differences. A lot of people get divorces is because they never truly liked the person they was with to begin with. And then they found an excuse to get out. That's really what I think is the cause of most divorces. So let's hear what this crybaby got to say.
Cried for 2 days, was good for 2 days. And now I'm by myself, and it's just like the hurricane, like it's here again, you know? It's, the tsunami is back. Like, it's just so hard. And like, I'm frustrated because I, got, my whole world got disheveled. And I feel like he has moved on, and he is healed and moved on and doesn't care about me, which I don't want him to come back into my life.
He made a commitment and an oath to you and put his money where his mouth is by going to work to provide you a life because he thought that it was you and him against the world. And you decided because you're unhappy, you're going to go and get the government involved in your love life and use the government as an enforcement arm to extort his resources from him. That's a level you can't come back from. That's damn near treason. You're damn near a traitor. He shouldn't love you anymore. And I hope he out there living his best life.
It still just sucks, I can't imagine, thank you guys for sharing stuff, like stories that you've been, like you've gotten through this and it's been however many years, because I could not imagine that. I can't imagine being with someone for a really long time and going through this, Sorry if you can hear my cat literally playing in the background.
She literally made herself a cat lady.
They call her the cat lady.
The jokes write themselves. They really write themselves.
Like, I was only with him for 4.5 years, 1 year married. I could not imagine, though, being with him for longer and this happening, but it's just so sad sometimes, and it's like so hard to have to learn how to do life by yourself again. Like,
and see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think she ever really liked him. I think he made her life easier, so she stuck with him. And this is a problem. Like, they don't like the dudes that they're with. The dudes just make life easy. And then when they just can't have that easy, and they call it soft girl life, right? You see how it all connects? But what they do is they destroy their lives because they were never truly happy to begin with. It was just a means to an end. And the way that the government is currently set up, I don't have to like my husband. I don't even have to have a reason to leave him. I'm gone now because I'm bored and I need more in life. And then I get to take some of his money to make my life even easier. If we had a kid, I can hold that child hostage. I can decide whether or not he gets to see the child, and I can extract even more from him. With some of these women, even some of these men, but it's mainly women because women get the benefit of having government backing. It's all about extraction. Give me what I want. Give me what makes my life easier. Give me all these things that bring me joy. This is why we have phrases like happy wife, happy life. This is why we tell young boys to spend money on young women, even if they don't know them. This is why they have a cap on relationships and tell you if you don't make a certain amount, you shouldn't even date. It's because all of these things benefit them personally.
You don't have that person to call all the time, or that best friend to go do things with. And that's what scares me. I've never truly been alone and worked on myself, and I'm terrified of it.
See what I mean?
So she divorced her husband and then expected him to fight to get her back.
Yeah.
She doesn't want him. She just wants the validation that she gets from the attention he gives when he tries to get her back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all she wants. She doesn't want him.
And when she tries to come back, just remember, she don't want to come back because she loves you. She want to come back because she realized the world doesn't love her. Yeah, because when you in a marriage,
I want that old thing back.
You a woman, you get a different leverage with your sex. You have sex with your husband, he start doing home projects, he start working a little harder, he start wanting to take you out on dates. When you out in the streets, your leverage ain't the same. You sleep with those dudes, and because they ain't got no commitment to you, they can just smash and dash. You do that,
they just leave
a few times, and you realize these dudes aren't obligated to stick around like your husband was, and you find out that the streets is cold. Why would he fight to get you back when he was already fighting to keep you? But obviously what he was doing wasn't enough. But it's okay though, because somebody will appreciate it.
What upsets her is that he's not doing that. Instead, he's moved on with his life.
Yeah.
I've noticed men are very good with this. Maybe not all, but a lot that I've seen, they move on. And that's the thing to do. And he does the right thing. He moves on. And it sucks for her because he moved on and she didn't. And so basically, the only attention she can get is from people online, mainly other women that have decided to do the same thing.
Yep, exactly.
And so she gets sympathy from them.
Yep.
She makes a video and cries and posts it, and it will get views. But a lot of times they expect the men to still try to make it work, even though they initiated the divorce. And 70% of divorces are initiated by women.
Yep.
They enjoy it when men give them this attention. They love it when they beg for them to take them back. And when they don't, when they see the men move on, especially when they marry somebody younger and hotter, oh, they are not happy about this. And unfortunately, you can't make a woman happy. You can add to it, but a woman's got to make herself happy.
Right.
And if she's putting it all on a guy or kids or something, then, hey, it doesn't work well.
Yeah, nigga, get a hobby. What happened to bird watchers? Like, we don't have
My man said, get a hobby.
any bird watchers
I don't know why. It's a personal joy about whatever this man curses. I never see it coming. I remember when he was talking about picking cotton. Yo, I fell out.
anymore. Like, everybody thinks that now they're just going to be like doing political debates on TikTok and building parasocial relationships on TikTok. Go get a hobby. Maybe that'll fill the void. And I'm going to say this too, and this might be a crazy take, but man, if it wasn't for women being able to divorce their husband and still get 50% of everything, it would be a lot easier for these dudes to move on. A lot of the times when I see dudes ruined, it's because they worked for 30 years building up this 401k and paying off this house and doing all these other things just for their family to be separated. They don't get to see their kids anymore, and then they lose half their money. I personally
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. And it's sad because there's a lot of men out here who, again, don't actually like their wives, just like the women don't like the men, but they feel duly bound to take care of her because someone told them at some point in time it was their job to do so. And I've seen it personally where there's guys who are married and they have severe issues with their wives. And I mean severe, to the point where they don't want to go home at night. It's crazy to think. Like, what you get married for, stupid? But like, I kid you not, in my neighborhood, if I go outside between 5:30 and 6:30, you're going to see an overabundance of grown men just sitting in their cars. And I've had this belief that these men are just talking to their side chicks. Like, I just had that belief. And some people don't have tents. So you go walk past their cars, they in a parking spot, and they just don't want to go home. They're watching videos, they're laughing, they're talking to their boys. They just don't want to go home. And I think I told a story about the guy who lived in Pennsylvania but worked in New York. This man traveled 2 states so he didn't have to go home to his wife. There's some men like who's really like that. And I'll close it here, but I'll tell you this really quick story. So I have an ex-girlfriend who, it's weird. We had like an on-again, off-again relationship, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when you're young and you're dumb, this is a long time ago. When you're young, you don't realize how stupid you are and how dumb you are to be in some of these relationships and how horrible they are. So you go back and forth, and then one day I woke up and I was like, why am I doing this? It's like, this girl's not worth the time. She's just not worth my time. And I'm putting all this effort into a failing relationship. Let me stop. Long story short, I ended it. This was the abusive girl. I think I told that story as well, where she threw something at me and I ignored her. But I ended the relationship. And this girl calls me or hits me up at like once a year, trying to see how I am. First, she started off by insulting my, at the time, girlfriend, right? Then when she found out I had kids, oh, how's everything? All this other stuff. Good. Everything's hunky-dory. Perfect. Right? That's how I explain my relationship to this girl. It's like, you're not about to come in here and ruin my happy home. Get out of here. Because you miserable and you want that old thing back. I want that old thing back. It's over. And that's what she was trying to get at. This lady right here was trying to get at. So many women destroy their relationships chasing something because they think that they can do better. They realize that the world is cold, the world is not better, and then they try to run back. Like, nah, sweetheart, it's too late. Those days is over. Like, I don't even remember those days. And not to mention, especially if a man ends up getting better, oh, you don't stand a damn chance, right? But here's where I'll actually close, and I'll tell this to any woman willing to listen. First of all, before you get married, make sure you actually like that man. Why? Because there's going to be times in your relationship where you're going to hate that man. And your love and your like for that man needs to be strong enough to sustain you and to keep that relationship going, even in the times where you hate him. I know my wife be hating me sometimes. I know it because I'm annoying. I'm annoying. right? I know I piss her off, but I can be a drill sergeant sometimes. There's certain things I'm for, there's certain things I'm against. There's certain things you can move me on, and I'll do it even though I don't want to do it. There's certain things, don't bother me, I'm not doing it, right? So I know there's times when my wife be looking at me like I'm gonna punch him in his head, right? But I would like to believe that the love that she has for me has sustained her through those tough times. And it's not just that I would like to believe it, there's evidence of it. So the prayer is that the love that I have for her and the love that she has for me will sustain us throughout life, to the point where only death can depart us. And these are the type of relationships that people need to start having. Stop sleeping with people just because you like the way they look. Stop having children with people simply because they have money. Stop putting a baby in women just because she looks good. This is a stupid way to live life. Stop being stupid. Like, that's about to be my new phrase. Stop being stupid. Right? So of course these women regret divorce. Of course they do, because they thought they were greater than what they actually were. And life told them that they weren't. And now they can't hit the reset button, even though they're throughout their entire lives. For the most part, a lot of women don't understand accountability because they're not held accountable. They usually don't have to suffer the consequence long term. Usually they complain, they cry, and then they get what they want. The same way children do. And when you keep doing that to a person, it warps their whole worldview. It changes their mindset to the point where they believe that if I cry, I'm going to get my way. This is why most men will not cry, while most women will cry in hectic situations, because we know that crying isn't going to get us anything. So with that, I'll end it. People regretting divorce. Obviously, right? It makes sense that they regret their divorce. Divorce is not something to take lightly. And the fact that this demon got on the internet and started promoting divorce because she's divorced goes to show you the mentality of some of these women. This is why some people believe you should not take relationship advice from women. Because what they'll do is they'll project their own lives onto yours. And if you're not careful, you'll end up with their result. Be smarter, do better. Have a good day. Until we meet again.
Thanks for listening to the Center Ground Podcast. We'll be back soon with some more great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We are a new channel, and growth is essentially our main objective. So send us an email at centerground.pod@gmail.com with any ideas or clips you would like for us to review. This was definitely fun, and I'd say let's do it again. But before you go, always remember, greatness lives somewhere within you. Just make sure you're taking the time to find the key to unlock that greatness. Until we meet again, I'll see you soon.